Hello friends, my name is Bree and welcome to that Iowa homestead. Today, it's time for me to start some carrot seeds. So I'm going to try something new. I've seen a couple of people do it with success, so I kind of wanted to try it for myself and see what I think of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a cornstarch gel to mix my carrot seeds into and then kind of pipe my carrot seeds into my soil. What this is going to do is this is going to add like an extra moisture layer, because if you know anything about starting carrots, they require a lot of moisture to germinate. So this is going to help them along the way and hopefully give me a really good germination rate. So the mixture is 2 tablespoons of cornstarch for every 1 cup of water. So I'm going to quadruple the recipe here, and I have 4 cups of water here. And I'm going to do 8 tablespoons of cornstarch. I may not have enough cornstarch in this container, but that's okay because I have a backup. So let's get to it. All right. All of our ingredients are in the pot. I'm going to give this a good mix with a whisk. And then we're going to take it over to the stove and heat it up. All right, so what we're going to do here, we have our pot with our cornstarch mixture on the stove. We are going to turn it on, and we're going to cook it over like a medium-ish heat. You don't really want it to come to a full boil. You just want it to heat and combine. We are going to be stirring periodically. Make sure that everything's going good. I'll see you in a couple minutes. All right, I just turned the heat off to our cornstarch mixture. We have a nice gel consistency. That's what we want, so I'm going to move it to the back burner so it cools off. All right, our cornstarch mixture is cooled. I put it in this little bag. We are going to mix some carrot seeds in here. Now, this is about 800 carrot seeds, give or take. I don't need that many, so I'm going to probably only do like a third of this. All right, all mixed up and ready to go. And this is the variety that I'm planting today. All right, I am over here by my carrot bed, and I just spent a couple seconds here evening out the soil because I don't remember if I've told you or not, but my chickens are jerks and they got into my carrot bed and destroyed my carrots. I think I only harvested like 10 carrots and I planted like 10 times that amount. Anyways, they made a mess of this bed. I just got in here and I fixed it. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to dig trenches. You can see I have 1, 2, 3, 4 lines on my drip irrigation system. I'm just going to try to run along those lines for my trenches. So I'm going to get that done real quick and then I will be back to finish planting carrot seeds. Okay, I don't know if you can really tell from here, but I do have 4 trenches dug. So what I think I'm going to do is, it wouldn't really be an experiment if we didn't have a control. So I'm going to do 2 rows planting seeds like I normally would, and then 2 rows with the cornstarch mixture. And then as they germinate, we can kind of compare, what germinates quicker, what gets more germination, etc. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'll see you in a minute. So I kind of messed up and I bought the freezer bags that don't have like the definitive corner. They kind of have this little pocket so that you can sit them upright like this. But I mean, it is what it is. We're just gonna have to make do with what we got. So here we go. Let's see if I can do this without making a giant mess of it. All right, this is what our little carrot seed cornstarch mixture looks like. I think I may have gotten the cornstarch just a little too thick, but I can't imagine that'll be a huge deal. I think it will still do what it's supposed to do. Just a quick first impression here before I get on planting my seeds the old-fashioned way. This method is definitely way quicker. Even with my fumbling, not knowing what I'm doing, it's still way quicker than planting carrot seeds the old-fashioned way. So I'm really hoping that this works out very well, because if it does, this is going to be my go-to. I'm liking it so far. All right, I have just covered these rows ever so slightly with soil. Now it's time to get going on the old-fashioned way. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, normally I wouldn't dig trenches like this. Normally I would space out little divots in the soil, but I wanted to make sure that I did everything the same so that we could compare and contrast. So I just dug these little trenches here, and I'm just going to go along and sprinkle the seeds in as I'm going. And we can come back and thin them out later on. All right, 2 more things we're going to do, and then we're going to call it a day, and I will come back in a few days after some have germinated and give you an update. So carrots need a lot of moisture in order to germinate. So even though my drip irrigation system runs every other day for 2 hours, I will probably still come out here at least once in between then, at least once, and give these guys a good watering, just to make sure that I get good germination on these. And the second thing that I'm going to do, you see that big pile of fence right there? That is actually what I used to keep my chickens out of here originally, but I hadn't got my drip irrigation system set back up yet when I had my carrots planted. So when I was working on getting my drip irrigation set back up, I already had carrots sprouting over here. So I took the fence off, got the drip irrigation set back up, and then couldn't get it back on without risking squishing a lot of my seedlings. So I never put it back on, which is why my chickens ended up getting in here and scratching everything up. So now I'm going to put that on here. My drip irrigation is already set up, so I don't have to worry about that at all. So I'm just going to get it on here and leave it even after my carrots get fully grown. And that should keep my chickens out of here for sure, because they won't be able to scratch, they won't be able to dig, they won't be able to roll around. So that's what I'm going to do now. Then I'm going to water, then we're done. All right, rows are covered. There's no way a chicken is going to come in here and decide that this is a good place to scratch. All right, last thing left to do is give these seeds a good watering. That should be good enough to get these seeds off to a good start. I will check back with you guys in a few days and let you know how the germination is going. All right, friends, so I am out here. I'm actually outside of my garden fence right now, so excuse me while I lean over everything. I was just coming out here to water my carrots today, and I just looked back on my video footage, and it has been exactly 1 week since I started this little project. And we do have some germination in the first 2 rows, which, if you remember, the first 2 rows were the ones that I did the cornstarch carrot mixture. Now, the back 2 rows, pay attention to this here, okay? That's a lot of germination in those back 2 rows. I am definitely gonna have to get in there at some point in time this week and thin those out, because that is a lot of germination back there. So, I mean, in comparison, so far, the first 2 rows are just, they're not wowing me. They're really not wowing me. We have a couple of germinated carrot seeds up here, but I mean, if you look, there's another one. There's really just not a ton in these first couple rows. I mean, maybe a small handful. But those back rows, man, all kinds of germination back there. We'll have to see how this goes. Hopefully in the next couple of days we get a whole lot more germination in these front 2 rows. Otherwise, I'm going to be extremely disappointed in this cornstarch method. Oh, let's see, there's another one right there. Yeah, hopefully we see some more germination, that is for sure. All right, friends, it is the following day, and I thought I would come back out here and just check to see how our germination is looking. Since yesterday, I came out here and I saw that there was just a ton germinated on those back 2 rows. So let's have a look. So as you can see, those 2 rows right there are the back 2 rows. And just an absolute ton of those have germinated. Now, just to remind you, the back 2 rows are the normal way of planting carrots. They are not the cornstarch method. And then the front 2 rows, I am starting to see a little more. Like there's a couple right there. There's a couple right there. There is one. There's some right in there. There's one. And there's a few. But still, overall, I mean, not a ton. I mean, truly, so far, I'm not super impressed. This is leaving a lot to be desired, but again, the back 2 rows, I will have a pretty decent carrot harvest, and we'll see. I mean, carrots take up to 14 days to germinate, and as of right now, it's only been 8. So I'm not like super worried about lack of germination yet. Once it gets to that 2-week mark, then I will start to be concerned, and I may consider coming out here and planting again the normal way. But as of right now, I'm content to just wait and see what happens. I'm really curious to compare and contrast. So I will come back out here in probably a couple of days and check in with you. We'll see how it's going. All right, friends, today is the official 14-day mark, which, if you don't know, carrots take up to 14 days to germinate. So I figured I would take you along and we would go together to see how many carrots actually ended up germinating. So I'm just stepping into my garden. We're heading over to the carrot area now. All right, rounding the corner now. Okay, so not a lot has changed, to be honest. I have not been over here in a few days because it rained all weekend, so I did not have to come out here and water anymore. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to do some thinning out in the back 2 rows, but the front 2 rows, I don't think I'm going to have to mess with them. I'm going to flip the camera around and let you see what I'm seeing. Okay, so here are our back 2 rows. You can see we have quite a bit of germination back here. I am going to have to do quite a bit of thinning, which is fine. I'm totally okay with that. My beans are trying to encroach on my video here. Sorry. Okay. Then the front 2 rows. I'm going to get in here a little closer. We'll go 1 row at a time. So you can see there are some carrots in this first row, but definitely not as many as the last 2 rows. Now, it is very possible that we could get some late bloomers here. I'm not going to hold my breath for that, but I am going to wait to edit this video for probably another week just to see if anything else happens. But if nothing else happens, I will not be posting, or I will not be filming anymore. So my final reaction, if this is the last of it, is that the cornstarch method, not really worth it. I had higher germination rate doing it the old-fashioned way. While I do admit that the cornstarch method is a wee bit easier than the old-fashioned way. It makes it more streamlined, a little easier. You just squeeze and go. That is really nice. Is it worth sacrificing my germination rate? No, not in my opinion. So this will probably be the first and the last time that I try this method. Now, if one of you guys watched me do this and saw something that I did wrong, please leave it in the comments below. If that is the case, I will gladly give this a second attempt. However, it will not be until springtime. So, as for right now, I think that is about all that I have to say about this. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. Don't forget to subscribe if you would like to see more content like this. Thank you for coming with me today. I'll see you soon.